Here we go. Hey, everything on 3. Number 3. 1 on 1. Oh, 1 on 3. 1, 2, 3. Win it. I know the next step from that. Eyes on 3. Everything on 3. 1. Everything.
You are now listening to the Fantasy Football Bros Podcast.
And we're back. Welcome back, everybody, to the Fantasy Football Bros Podcast, episode 9. With me, as always, I have Jay. Oh no, I don't have Jay Coleman because our boy just had some surgery, and we're hoping that he's recovering well. But he might be joining us for a mock draft tonight as well. And when I say we, I mean we got back Adam Van Houten.
Oh yeah,
and then I forgot about mine.
What's up, guys?
Oh yeah,
Jay, we're sorry you can't be here. We hope you a speedy recovery, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, definitely. So we are drinking. We got a couple of specialties. I've got a Saranac S'more Porter.
I have a
wait for it. Oh yeah, that didn't really.
That didn't
really came
pour as
through
well as you thought. I have a Resurgence Brewing Company Loganberry Wit.
Is it pronounced wit or vit?
I think it's Wit.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
I don't know.
And we're sharing.
It's delicious.
So let's do a live taste of the Loganberry first.
I'm gonna do the s'mores.
Okay, here we go, folks.
That tastes like a s'more.
That Loganberry is sweet.
The s'more tastes exactly how you would expect it to.
It's dark.
It is very dark.
It's really dark. Here we go. I'm going in the s'more.
It's pretty good.
This is going to be weird, just like mixing these flavors. Oh damn! That s'more one is fire, yo.
Oh yeah,
Holy shit!
And the Loganberry. If you're from Western New York, you know Loganberry.
Yo, that s'more one is fire. All right, that's it. Thanks for joining the podcast. We're going off on a bender,
and we'll see you guys next week.
Okay, so let's.
Chazz, what are we doing here today?
We are doing our quarterback rankings. I realized when I listened back last week that we were all over the place, so we're doing something different. I mean, we're still doing our ranking show, but we're going to follow an expert's rankings. We're going to go in his way.
An expert that's not us.
Yes. We're going to go in his order, and then we'll say where we have them, and then where we have them at the end. So we're not jumping around like crazy. So we're going to... That expert is one of my favorite analysts. That would be Dave Richard from CBS. So you can find his rankings, and hopefully he doesn't sue me for giving out his information or whatnot. But we do have 2 news items. Well, technically 3 news items to set the story first. Set the table with. And the first one that we missed by a day last week was... the Cardinals flushed a lot of money down the toilet.
Yeah, a little bit.
with signing Kyler Murray. And I don't blame them.
Do you think it's a dig at Deshaun Watson?
Oh, 20%. And you're talking about the total contract being 0.1.
0.1 per year more than Deshaun is getting. But his is fully guaranteed, and Kyler Murray's is only $160 million guaranteed.
Yeah,
which
Kyler is...
You still take that.
Which quarterback in general would you rather have on your team? I think Deshaun.
I would.
If we're just talking quarterback, we're not talking fantasy, we're not talking, sexual misconduct, just a player on the field.
I think I would like Watson as well. I don't know. Kyler doesn't have the body of work yet to where I'm like, okay, I want him on my team.
And to be fair, Kyler doesn't have the body. I mean, he's a little fucking dude.
He's a short guy.
But
he gets it done.
But I don't know. I just don't like him.
Drew Brees was only 5'9" and got it done. So
yeah, but Drew Brees had a laser rocket cannon accurate arm.
That's fair.
So I mean, he was kind of a once in a lifetime player. The other news, Adam's simping over the s'mores porter right now.
Good. If y'all have not tried this, you should go try it.
The cops are coming. Do you hear it? Okay, the other news to set with is my boy got the starting nod, Trey Lance.
Trey Lance finally named the starter.
Which, I mean, we all saw coming.
We all saw it coming.
Stevie Wonder saw that coming. Do you see what I did there?
I see what you did there.
But that's, I mean, we'll find out where I have in my rankings. I mean, I'm probably higher than you. Maybe I'm too high.
Definitely higher than me.
Yeah, man. Maybe I'm too high.
I can already guarantee that.
But I mean, we all saw that coming. So I guess the next domino to fall is where Jimmy G goes. So that could also throw a rankings.
Who needs a quarterback?
Do you have any Seahawks in your top 20? I don't. for quarterback wise?
Not even close.
Okay, so I'm
that
still thinking
could
there.
be an option.
I'm
but
still thinking
it's also interdivision, so do they really want to do that?
I assume right now it's either that or nothing.
But if Seattle's in a full rebuild, you don't rebuild with Jimmy Garoppolo.
Do they feel they're in a rebuild? They only lost.
I guess it depends on if the trade rumors about DK Metcalf getting shipped off to Carolina.
But there's
come
this
true.
or that. So if you get Jimmy, then you roll out Jimmy, the 2 running backs, the 2 receivers. I mean, that's a fine starting lineup.
Also, Chris Carson retired today.
Yep, and I mean, I saw that coming too the whole year.
Penny.
So you got Rashad Penny
on the radar for fantasy owners.
And Ken Walker.
Ken Walker.
So that's with them. So I mean, if Jimmy G goes in there, they're a okay team. I mean, they're not bottom feeder. I don't think.
No, I don't think so.
So and then of course the huge, massive news that if anyone sleeping on this, that's crazy. Julio Jones
big signing in Tampa Bay.
Julio Jones goes to Tampa Bay. So now you got on that team Mike Evans,
last ditch effort
for Julio
for a
sure.
Super Bowl. He came so close with Atlanta.
I know.
And failed.
Sad.
Now, why not join the team that the guy who took you out?
Right? I didn't even
Tom
think
Brady.
of it that way. Hell yeah. Big signing.
But I don't know if Godwin is ready for the start of the season. All signs point to yes.
He's not on pup.
If he is ready, now you have Mike Evans, Julio Jones, Chris Godwin, Leonard Fournette is your running back. Tom Brady is your quarterback.
Gronk's going to unretire at some point.
I think this brings Gronk out of retirement a little earlier than expected.
Maybe week 11 now. My thing with this signing is, like, you guys got to remember this, and, like, I'm happy we didn't even do our receiver rankings yet because we're going to have to put Julio in there.
Julio definitely makes the list now.
Antonio Brown the last 2 years was actually really good in Tampa. So he's basically taken his spot. But you know what? He's not Antonio Brown. He is more of an athletic freak. I mean, I know he's old, but so is Antonio Brown. So he's not going to be a slot guy. I mean, he's got the monster of receivers on the other side in Mike Evans. Probably the biggest receiver in the NFL. Julio's probably like the 6th biggest receiver in the NFL, and now you're going to put Godwin back to his comfort zone in the slot. Dude, I already put money this year on Tampa to be in the Super Bowl, to be NFC champion. So my bet just got better.
Bills, Tampa.
That's been my pick the last 3 years.
I'm in. I'm fully in.
So, all right. So we set the table with that. We're going to take a break and check out these awesome sponsors, and we'll be back with our QB rankings next. And we're back from these awesome sponsors. So we're just going to get right into it. Last episode went, about $1.50, if not more. And I'm okay if this one goes that way, but I don't want to waste any time. So let's move on. Remember, folks, CBS Sports contributor Dave Richard. That's at Dave Richard. There's no S. Dave Richard.
This is pretty recent. He just updated this about 4 hours ago, according to CBS.
Yep,
so.
and he's an awesome Twitter follower. All these guys in the CBS are great. I've been following and listening to these guys, honestly, 12 years or so. So, like, these guys helped me a lot learning fantasy football. So if you don't know the CBS guys and you don't want to just take our takes, which is the worst, don't just follow someone blindly. Get other perspectives and stuff. So, all right, at number 1, and I'm assuming he's my number 1, your number 1, Jay's number 1, we've got the one and the only Drew Lock. No, that's not true. We got Josh Allen, of course.
God, I hope that's not true.
He's my number 1, of course. He's Dave Richards. He's Jay's. What about you, Adam?
I have Josh Allen as number 1 as well.
So
that's a no-brainer.
I don't know much. I don't know how much we're going to talk about these can't miss guys because there's no brainer. Nobody's going to be better than Josh Allen just because he's not the ultimate runny Lamar Jackson guy. He's not the ultimate pocket passer Tom Brady guy. He's both.
Exactly.
He's legit both of them.
He's going to get you 250 to 300 yards every week, as well as 50 to 60 rushing yards on a down week probably. And a few touchdowns in there.
I mean, if Josh Allen gets you 2 touchdowns and 300 yards, that's a bad week.
That is a bad week.
For Josh Allen, right?
For Josh Allen.
So,
for any quarterback, really.
I mean, that's what you're going to get, though, from some of the later
we would
guys.
be okay with that.
But not Josh Allen. So he's
I want 2 touchdowns through the air, 1 rushing. as well as the rushing yards. So give me the whole package. I'm still putting Allen number 1.
And then, of course, I mean,
Regardless.
the weapons, I mean, his weapons might not be the best weapons, but from talent, from him to, like, he's just as good as Mahomes and he's got way better weapons. He's got
Stephon Diggs. We all know he's a stud.
We're all expecting Gabe to break out.
We're all expecting him to do what he does every year.
Yep.
Gabriel Davis is the question because we saw flashes of him at the end of the season last year.
Flashes. We saw domination.
Well, we saw domination, yes, but it happened late in the season, which concerns a lot of people because is he going to maintain that is really the question going into this season. I think he's going to be fine. I have Gabriel Davis ranked very highly on my list. So,
and then, of course,
and then you have the signing of Jameson Crowder.
Yep.
And you have Dawson Knox and O.J. Howard, and you have a lot of weapons around him.
And don't forget about McKenzie.
And McKenzie's out there.
And Shakir we just drafted.
Yep. So Shakir is going to, I think, make an impact pretty earlier than people expect.
It's nice. You know, my whole time playing fantasy football, I think there was only ever like a bill that was highly regarded 1.5 times. And it was Shady for a little bit. And
Shady was there for a little bit, and then he had a bad year, and everybody was like, oh, this guy, can't stand him anymore. But who else? Stevie Johnson, maybe?
No, I'm talking like first 2 rounds. We had 1 year where like 4th or 5th overall, people were taking CJ Spiller. And that was it.
That was after his like 1,200-yard season.
But that's
everybody was like, "Oh, CJ Spiller, he's going to be the guy."
So my whole life,
and then he didn't do anything.
My whole life, the Bills have never had like a great fantasy app. So this is cool, but I don't think we got much to say about him. I mean, we might as well just move on. We know he's the guy.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't be like Josh Allen. Health, of course. You pick him number 1 because, first of all, he's been the number 1 quarterback 2 years in a row.
True.
That doesn't mean he's going to be the number 1 quarterback this year, but he's probably going to be top 4. So you're guaranteeing yourself at least top 4.
At least.
You know what I mean? Like, unless he gets hurt. I can't see him.
And your top 4 quarterbacks in the league last year, over 350 fantasy points. So that's a pretty good year.
So that's why he goes number 1. Less question marks and talent. And that's where we go. And speaking of talented and a talented squad, arguably just as talented quarterback and maybe arguably better at weapons around him, is Dave Richards number 2, and that would be Justin Herbert.
He's also my number 2.
He's also my number 2.
And I put him at number 2 because he is...
And he's Jay's number 2.
The ultimate pocket passer. He's not a guy that's going to run a lot. He's a big guy. He can get out of the pocket if he has to.
I was going to say, but I wouldn't put that by him.
He's not going to get you Josh Allen rushing yards. No. He's not going to get you Lamar Jackson rushing yards, even Kyler Murray, Jalen Hurts, all these running quarterbacks. But he's going to get you 4 touchdowns.
Yep.
And 300-plus yards every game. And he's got 2 of arguably the best receivers tandem in the league.
Yep.
A running back. And a fantastic running back who catches everything out of the backfield. Yep. Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Austin Eckler. I love that for him.
Yeah. That's better than like the Bills' weapons.
I agree.
So it wouldn't surprise me, per se, if he did take over the number 1 spot from Josh Allen. Because one thing that, like, I don't know, like I'm trying to look for one thing that you might be sleeping on with Justin Herbert is he does run a little bit. Do you know how many? Do you have his stats pulled up? I do.
I don't have
I just want to quiz you. So 2 years in the league, right?
Yeah.
What would you think? How many rushing touchdowns does he have in 2 years?
I'm going to go with 6.
He's got 8.
Okay.
So, I mean, so he's averaging 4 rushing touchdowns a year.
Okay, that's not horrible.
And he's averaging about just over 260 rushing yards a year. So he doesn't run a lot, but he's got 120 attempts just about in 2 years. So, I mean, he does move. I mean, you say ultimate pocket passer. That's Tom Brady.
I agree.
You know.
Right. He does have a little bit of mobility, but he's not going to be that guy that's just going to take off and run is what I meant.
Yes.
So, but is he more of a pocket passer? Definitely.
But also in 2 years, he's averaging just about 35 touchdowns a year. So
that's pretty good.
Fantastic.
I'll take that.
Right? So he's easily my number 2. You can see over here I've changed my mind here and there and crossed things out, but not at number 1 and 2.
Right.
So we've always had him on 1 and 2, and not really a lot to say. I would be happy nabbing his number 2. So let's just move on.
Definitely.
To Dave Richards, number 3. That would be Patrick Mahomes.
I disagree.
I disagree.
And it's not like I have Patrick Mahomes out of my top 5, but I don't have him at 3. I have him at 4.
But Jay does have him at 3.
Of course he does. It's okay.
I have him at 5.
Okay.
So just down on him, and it's easy to be down on him. Does he suck? No.
The reason why I have him lower and I'm down on him even one spot from Dave Richard here is because of losing Tyreek Hill.
Yes.
And I'm not saying Patrick Mahomes by any means is going to take a step back, because he's not. He's Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
He's very good.
Yes.
But
we just get sick of him here. Like we used
do,
to get sick of him.
and we have reason to, because we can't beat him in the postseason.
I've said it before. He's daddy right now.
Exactly.
He's
he
daddy.
is daddy at the moment, and until we beat him in the playoffs, and it doesn't matter what round in the playoffs, we just have to beat him in the playoffs.
True that.
So, with that being said, I have him at 4. And he's not going too far down my list. He's just at 4. I mean,
Yeah, he's at 5 for me. Same reasons. No Tyreek Hill. So yeah, but they brought. So now
they did bring in a couple guys though.
They brought in a lot. So technically, they have better options now than they ever had, deeper wise.
I think so. I know. I mean, Tyreek Hill is the fastest wide receiver in the league. We all know it. He's a deep guy, but he can catch the short stuff too and make it a deep run. He's throwing a 5-yard slant and he's taking off for 80 yards and a touchdown.
But it used to be him. It used to be Tyreek Hill, and Cole Hardman was your number 2,
right?
Or Watkins if he was healthy, which was never. But literally, like Cole Hardman's their number 4 now.
Yes.
So yeah, you got Juju in there at number 1. You brought in Valdez-Scantling to bring back the speed.
I think Juju Smith-Schuster has good years in him. Still, he had injuries last year, which prevented him from being good. And then he also had an aging and deteriorating Ben Roethlisberger throwing him the ball. So that doesn't help his value at all.
And Scantling bringing in is the speed guy.
He's the speed deep guy that they're looking for. And he was great in Green Bay when Aaron Rodgers threw him the ball. He was reliable, and I think it's going to be more the same for him. I don't think he's really going to be too much of a route runner.
He's just more
okay.
Just more of a go guy.
He's just going to be that guy that's just, all right, go.
And then
take off.
They drafted Skye Moore, who's my favorite rookie.
Skye Moore is going to make an immediate impact on this team.
Another burner.
And that's the reason why you put Hardman at 4, or maybe even their wide receiver 5.
Right. Because Josh Gordon's still there.
Josh Gordon is still there. He's got another year left, I believe.
So that's a deep team, and that's what I'm saying. So it's you don't have the high end greatness anymore, but like he's got a deeper. So like, and don't forget Travis Kelce, and they've got Ronald Jones and Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
And they brought in Ronald Jones, and Edwards-Helaire is not.
He's been a bust.
He's definitely been a bust the past 3 years.
Yeah,
or 2. How has he been there? 2 years. 2 years.
Yeah.
He's definitely not what you expect.
Well, here's the thing. That's on Patrick Mahomes.
I agree.
Because Patrick Mahomes, I mean, it's well documented, texted Andy Reid and said, get this kid Clyde from Joe Burrow's team. And they took him 31st or 32nd overall.
Yes.
And then 2 or 3 picks later went Jonathan Taylor. And 4 or 5 picks later went Deandre Swift. So, like, literally the best running back in football kind of right now went. And then there would be no more perfect fit than Deandre Swift in Kansas City.
I agree.
So, like, they just
definitely agree with that. So they kind of whiffed on that one. He has flashes and moments, but they're not enough to be like, yeah, he's great.
Yeah.
So
I just don't. So I don't think the running backs are going to do anything.
I don't think they're going to do anything spectacular, but I think Ronald Jones could be really a difference maker there.
But that makes me
probably the starter, in my opinion.
Mahomes more.
Agreed.
Because they're not going to run the ball.
They're not going to run the ball at all. He's just going to throw it like he always does.
Yeah. So
350
Mahomes in your top 4 to 5
for sure.
The reason he moved down to 5 for me, in all honesty, was because of the news today with Julio Jones. I put Brady above him. So
I also did. I have Brady at 3.
So that's how he dropped down.
There,
that's how he dropped down to 5 for me. But like I said, we'll move on. You can't go wrong with anybody we've discussed so far.
Right.
All right. So moving on to Dave Richards, number 4, and I think this is where Adam's going to start having problems.
Some differences.
Dave Richards. It's not Richards.
No, it's Richard.
Richard, but this is possessive, so I'll say Richards. Dave Richards, number 4. That's thank you. Whatever. Is Lamar Jackson, who I also have at number 4.
I don't. I have Lamar Jackson at number 7.
Oh, that is insane to me. And Jay has him at number 5.
It's mostly because I can't stand him. I don't think he's a good passer. Not to mention he has nobody to pass it to anymore. So can they rely on him running the ball as much as he does? No, it's not sustainable. Now with their running backs coming back, he either has to pass or has to run.
He was more effective.
And he better hand it off to the running backs that are coming back because that's what we all expect. And he better throw the ball more because that's what they're going to have to do.
But see, this is where you might be a little mistaken because his best running seasons were when the running backs were healthy because of the what are those called? When he has to make the decision to hand it off or run, the options.
The RPOs.
The RPOs, yes. Because of those RPOs, he's the
options.
king at RPOs.
I'm not disagreeing with his running ability at all.
But that's what makes him more dynamic is when he's got the healthy running back. So in J.K. Dobbins' rookie year, and when remember a couple years ago, Mark Ingram had like 14 touchdowns or something rushing the ball for them. Maybe it was 12 or something, but still.
I can tell you right now that Lamar Jackson will not end up on my team. Okay. I don't care if he's there.
That's tough to say because his passing isn't as bad as you're making it out to be.
I think it's terrible.
Let's just have a guess.
I hope I'm wrong.
He has been a starter in this league, former NFL MVP, right? So
sure.
He's been a full-time starter for 3 years.
Okay.
And he played a few games in his rookie year, but full-time starter for 3 years. And you're not looking at the stats. How many passing yards do you think he has?
I'm gonna go in 3 years.
Yeah,
We're probably talking 8,000.
We got 10,000.
Okay, in 3 years.
So about more than 3 each year. Okay, add that on though to the rushing. How many rushing yards do we think he has in 3 years?
My guess is it's probably around 3,000.
3,600.
Okay.
So in basically 3 years, he's averaged
1,000 yards a season.
In general, between the two, in 3 years, about 13,000 yards. So, I mean, that's good numbers put together.
Sure.
But here's the big thing, and here's the thing that I bet you will surprise you. How many passing touchdowns has he had in his 3 seasons?
In 3 seasons?
Well, 3 in a few games.
Let's see. I'm going to go with 3 years. We'll say he averaged 30. So I'll go with 36, 90 touchdown passes.
Just close, 84.
84, okay.
And but that's also with 21 rushing touchdowns. So that is 105 touchdowns in 3 years. Where do you make your most points in fantasy football, Adam?
I know, on touchdowns. I get it.
Right.
I get what you're saying.
So what makes you think that that's just going to disappear?
The reason I have him lower is not because he's not talented. I am not as high on his passing ability as a lot of people are, but his rushing ability, there's no question. But the team that he has around him is not great. You name a receiver.
I mean, how is it any worse than what he's had is my question, because you've got Bateman, who is a first-round pick, who we have – see, you had Hollywood Brown, who was a first-round pick that everybody had, like, questions about anyway, right? You got your running backs coming back.
And now he's gone.
He's gone. That's what I meant. But you got Mark Andrews that stepped up.
He did step up, yes.
So he's in the same position he's always been in, and that's my thing with him. He's always had one receiver, and guys. And then you had the tight end finally step up.
I still stand by my 7.
Okay, that's fine. So
you can't convince me otherwise.
So you have him down at 7. That's insanity to me. That's crazy to me.
And it's based on his team around him. It's not him.
That's fair. That's totally
It's
fair.
not him per se. It's mostly the team around him.
That's
is
totally
just
fair.
Not good.
And I have him down at 4. I have him above Mahomes though, because I guess Mahomes has better weapons, but really, I don't know. I mean, are you going to say Juju's better than Bateman? Who knows at this point? Because Bateman didn't have really a chance. How
long has Bateman been in the league?
Coming to his second year. He was a rookie last year. So, do you know what I mean? So you don't know yet. Bateman, you got to have more faith in than Hardman or Valdez-Scantling. So they're kind of in the same boat.
I guess.
They're kind of in the same boat.
I still trust Mahomes more than I trust Jackson.
For passing, I'd rather have Mahomes as my quarterback of my real team, but we're not talking real teams. So I tell you what, I would not be surprised if Lamar Jackson went off again and was an MVP candidate this year. Because
I hope not,
with
because
the running backs,
Josh Allen needs it.
I said candidate.
Yeah, we'll see.
But like with the running backs coming back, I'm telling you, it's only going to make them better. So
we'll see.
So, all right. So we'll
We
move
will
on
see.
to Dave Richards' number 5 quarterback, who happens to be the man who just the beneficiary of Julio Jones, and that's Tom Brady.
I have Brady at 3.
I have Brady at 3 too.
And the reason being is because he should have been the MVP last year.
Absolutely.
Spoiler alert, Aaron Rodgers is not in my top 10.
No, he's not in anybody's. By the
Tom
way,
Brady is, we all know he's the GOAT.
and just to set it, Jay has him at 6. Okay.
Well, Jay's an idiot.
Brady did what he did last year.
43 touchdowns.
I think it was his second best year other than his 50 touchdown year.
That's probably accurate.
yeah.
How many yards did he have? Do you have it up? by
I
chance?
don't have it up right now.
I'm pretty sure it was like,
It was like the second most he's ever had.
I think it was over 5,000.
Yeah, I'll pull it up here in 1 second. But the thing about what I was just going to bring up, though, about Brady is he did this all last year and with the same receiving core except with Antonio Brown, and they just added Julio Jones, who I think is an upgrade.
I agree.
And they added Russell Gage.
True.
So
Nice little slot guy there.
and we know for a fact that he's going to unretire Gronk. So last year,
Yeah, we think so.
Last year, Brady had 5,316 and 43 touchdowns.
Exactly.
He threw for 5,000 yards back in 2011. And that's it. He's only had 5,000. So technically, last year was his most proficient passing yardage, I think. Yes. And obviously, other than his 2007 season where he threw 50 touchdowns, last year was his second most touchdowns he ever threw. And the year before was his third most touchdowns he ever threw when he threw 40.
The fact that he didn't win MVP is mind-blowing because the numbers that he put up are astonishing.
Well, because,
we have seen it year after year when he was in New England.
Yeah.
Just decimate teams, and especially us, and run the AFC East.
But the crazy thing is now he's a stat guy.
And now he is a stat guy.
It's crazy.
But this is the best receiving core that he's ever had.
Last year was, but this year's better.
Last year was great with, and even the year before when they won the Super Bowl, he still had Evans, Godwin, Gronk, Brown, and he had OJ Howard still, and I forget the running back how they had there. Ronald Jones was there, and I think there was another.
Fournette.
Fournette was last year though. I thought.
Both.
Was he? Did he? Oh,
yeah.
Right, he did win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay, so we obviously know that this is the best team he's ever been on.
Yeah.
With that being said, how do you not win the MVP with those numbers?
Because baby boy Aaron Rodgers has to win it.
Crap, baby Aaron Rodgers.
I'm going to retire if I don't win. I'm going to retire if you don't do something with receivers. Well, we did something with receivers, Aaron Rodgers, and we got rid of them.
See you later, Devonte.
I'm the star of this show, not Devonte Adams.
It was a tragedy that he didn't win the MVP, and I'm not. And as a Josh Allen fan and a Bills fan, obviously, we all hated Tom Brady in New England, but he always had our respect because of what he's done with literally nothing.
And now he's got
and
something.
now he has everything, and
he's showing it.
is showing that he really is the best quarterback to ever play the game. And I wouldn't be surprised if he was number one this year.
Here's another thing about Brady. He gets rushing touchdowns.
He does get rushing touchdowns.
How many touchdowns do you think rushing does he have in his career?
In his career, he's got to be over 20.
He's got 27 rushing touchdowns.
27.
Okay. And he's had two last year and 3 the year before.
You better believe that if he is within 2 yards of that end zone, he is running the ball.
I mean, maybe it's one. Maybe it's one.
Within one, maybe, now that he's in his 40s.
And he's 45, and he hit his career-long rush last year.
Yes, he did.
Of 13
yards.
No, he's had a longer one, but that was his longest rush in
since 10 years?
Yeah, something
at
like
least.
That. So
anyway,
Brady,
Tom Brady number 5 on Dave Richards' list, 3 on my list. Wouldn't be surprised if he's number 1. 3 on your list.
3 on my list.
And who cares about Jay's list because it's broken anyway.
Okay. Well, speaking of broken, let's go to Dave Richards number 6 because I don't like this.
I don't like this one either. I have him way lower.
And that's Russell Westbrook. No, I did that one on purpose. That's Russell Wilson from Denver. I'm probably the lowest. Where do you have Russell?
I have him at 12.
Okay, I'm not the lowest because I have him at 12.
There you go.
And Jay has Russell at late. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Get the fuck at 12.
Well, we can all agree on one thing is that he is definitely not top 10 material.
He's basically the last starter we're comfortable with.
I think that's fair.
Right?
I don't know. I think my 13 probably fits in that category as well. But I would definitely take Russell Wilson as a starter. I think he has a great team. I'm
almost comfortable with 15
maybe
people I got here.
I'm okay with that as well.
So
probably.
he comes into a team with Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy, and people are trying to compare these two to DK Metcalf and your boy Tyler Lockett. There's no comparison.
No. Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Me and Tyler Lockett go way back.
But there's no comparison. Metcalf's a top maybe 7 receiver in the NFL.
I agree.
And
when he's got a quarterback that can get him the ball.
And Lockett has shown time and time again.
With Geno Smith.
Right. But no, he was still okay. He wasn't terrible.
He wasn't what he could be.
Cortland Sutton is nothing. I don't know why people are so excited about him. He had one good year.
I don't understand the hype around Cortland Sutton at all. I don't get it. Like, I don't know why people are so high on this guy. He had Drew Lock throwing him the ball.
Sure.
Well, where's the hype there?
And Jerry Jeudy has not done anything. He's I think top 10 draft pick of the NFL, and he's been meh.
I agree. That's a good word, meh.
A lot of people are hyped on Tim Patrick. Okay. I mean, Patrick showed up a few games.
He had a couple games there that we was like, oh, I can make a name. And he sat on somebody. He was in free agencies. He had a 25-point game, and everybody's like, oh, I got to get this guy. And then did nothing the rest of the season.
And then the tight ends, Albert Okwuegbunam, and then they got the rookie. The hell's his name? I forgot his name. Dulcich.
Yeah.
And then the two running backs.
But their two running backs are great. Melvin Gordon and Devonte Williams.
But that's the thing. So why do people, I know Nathaniel Hackett's the head coach there, but why do people think all of a sudden Wilson's going to go over here and then they're going to be the next rebirth of Matt Stafford and the Rams? No, they're going to fucking still pound the rock.
Yeah. I would with those two running backs.
Right. Like that's what you got because Cortland Sutton is nothing.
I don't think Russell Wilson is washed up. I think
he's kind of close.
He's getting there for sure because he definitely showed some aging last year, and he missed 3 games last year with a broken finger.
And he might as well miss more because he was garbage.
But when he came back,
garbage.
He was very bad.
Garbage because I traded for him.
The ball came out wobbly.
Yep.
He couldn't find his receivers. Yep. It was a bad end of the season for the Seahawks.
Now, you would think I'm holding that against him because I had him. I traded for him last year and was happy to start him.
I don't hold it against him per se. I hold it against the team. I don't think the team around him is better than DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett.
Right. It's not.
So having that said, I don't see why he ranks 6 here, and which is why we all have him at 12.
Well, we all have him at 12. Dave Richard had him at 6.
Yeah.
Jamie Eisenberg, another guy from them, had him at 7. And then Heath, another guy from CBS, had him at 9. Yeah. So Dave is the high guy on him anyway. We just don't agree on it.
I totally agree.
I would stay away. There's a chance that I put Russ at 12. But, spoiler alert, I got Derek Carr at 13. I mean, there's a chance I would draft Derek Carr.
I have Derek Carr at 13 as well.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, man, that's crazy.
Great creepiness. There's a chance I would draft him over Russ. So
I would definitely, I would be okay with Derek Carr on my team over Russell Wilson. I know Derek Carr is more of a sure thing than Russell Wilson's going to be.
Well, we'll move
I like Derek Carr's wide receivers.
Way better.
And tight end.
Right.
And I am pretty high on Josh Jacobs as well.
Josh Jacobs is great. But we'll move on to his number 7, and that is the money laundering Kyler Murray. Dave Richard has him at 7. I have Kyler Murray at 7.
I have him at 8.
I'm looking for Jay right now.
And that's because I have Lamar Jackson at
1, 2,
7.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Jay has him at 10. So
I'm curious to know why. We'll have to ask him one of these days.
He hates Kyler Murray.
I know he does.
So,
he can't stand Kyler Murray.
I hate Kyler Murray, but I like to win money.
I do too.
So that's kind of why I have him where I have him. I have him
at 8. So you have him at 7.
So
so we're all kind of in the same area.
Murray's got him at 7. Heath over here's got him at 7 as well.
Yeah.
Kyler, and then Jamie over on CBS has him at 6. So we're all in the same kind of range on him. It's everything you said. It's everything we both said about Lamar, except less proven.
Agreed.
But the thing is 7 weeks into the season, he's going to have a great receiving core.
Yes, I agree. With Hopkins coming off suspension.
Usually about week 9, the man shuts down.
Kyler Murray is that guy that starts off strong, and fizzles out at the end. And the injury didn't help, and that definitely affected his rushing ability, and he had to become a passer. It didn't go so well.
No.
Couldn't find his receivers. Hopkins got hurt late. I'm just not high on Kyler Murray. His first year was better, I think. His best year, in my opinion.
He's already had 3 years, if you can't believe it.
I know. That's what I'm getting at. Is he had 3 years now, and his last 2 years haven't been that great. His first year was, I think, his best. And I don't have the stats in front of me. I'm just going off my memory of what I remember watching from Kyler Murray, because I had him on my team and damn near won me a league. So with Kyle, and now he does have a really good receiving core coming in with the trade for Marquise Brown.
And DeAndre
he has
Hopkins.
DeAndre Hopkins coming back. AJ Green is still there.
Rondell Moore.
Rondell Moore's a good guy.
Zach Ertz
is the tight end.
Weapons.
And he had the leading touchdown running back in James Conner. I know you can't stand him,
boring.
But he is a boring running back, but what did you say earlier? You get your most points in touchdowns?
So 1 year out of 7. Congratulations,
Don't care.
James Conner. Good for you.
Guess what? I won my league last year.
Okay, well,
James Conner is my second running back.
So you have a man crush on him. It's okay.
I do a little bit.
It's okay.
And I had him, and here's why. Because I did have him in Pittsburgh too, and he did okay. And then he got hurt, and then he kind of screwed me over. But either way, I still think Arizona is a decent team, and they have a good defense. But their secondary lacks a little bit as far as those guys back there. Is Tyrann Mathieu still there?
No, he just signed with the Saints.
Oh, that's right. Son of a bitch. Either way.
But they do have J.J. Watt.
But they have J.J. Watt still for a
games.
couple games if he decides he wants to play this year.
No, he's playing, but he'll get hurt.
Oh, yeah.
That's what he do.
Well, yeah, he'll play like every other game.
That's what he do. I don't know. There's not a lot we have to say
There's not a lot
about
more. I mean, we talk about Kyler Murray all the time.
Yeah, and we talked about Lamar Jackson. They're very similar.
Yeah.
And even
Agreed.
though Kyler has the better weapons, I'm still bought more into Lamar. So are you.
Yeah,
So
I am.
So is
By
Jay.
one.
So, all right, we'll move on to Dave Richards' number 8 quarterback, and it's my number 6 quarterback, and that's Jalen Hurts. Where do you got Hurts?
I have him at number 6.
Number 6. I bet you Jay has him low. Let's see. Jay has him 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Jay doesn't like these two. I know.
Clearly.
So, but literally everything you could say about Murray,
Lamar Jackson and Kyler Murray
just
can
cut and
apply
paste
to
with Hurts.
Jalen
Except
Hurts.
Hurts got a good team around him.
He does now.
Right. A.J. Brown.
A.J. Brown coming
Heisman
over.
Trophy winner Devonte Smith.
Devonte Smith
A
is
bunch
still
of
there.
productive
I
running
think
backs.
Devonte Smith is going to be slept on this year because
so.
of Jalen Hurts. But
I think so too. Dallas Goedert's
their tight end.
and the running backs.
And the running back by
they're all
committee.
productive.
So
Yeah, they're all productive in their own ways.
they
Kenneth
are.
Gainwell
Catches passes a lot. Miles Sanders is good for like 3 games, then he gets
Boring.
hurt for 2, and then
Another boring guy.
comes back and gets hurt again.
Boston Scott gets touchdowns.
Boston Scott takes every touchdown possible.
Yeah.
So
So he's got a lot
but
of
Jalen
weapons.
Hurts is still a decent fantasy option.
Well,
I drafted him pretty early in our mock draft last week.
Yep. I don't think he did early.
I don't think it was early. I think it was earlier than I normally would take a quarterback because he was there.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to seeing what he could do this year with a better team around him.
I would say he's the number 2 running quarterback behind Jackson. I think Jackson's the best running quarterback.
I could agree
think
with that.
Hurts is
And
second.
I think it's going to be the same situation as Lamar. He's going to rush for 2 touchdowns and maybe throw for 1.
But let's be fair. He's not a very good passer.
No, Jalen Hurts is definitely a far inferior passer than Lamar Jackson.
He's got his weapons. All you need to do is hit A.J. Brown on a quick slant. See ya. And same thing with Devonte Smith.
AJ Brown is fantastic, and we saw it firsthand last year when we were in Nashville. Still crying about that one. Can't wait for them to come here,
Bitch.
and see what they can do. But I'm high on Jalen Hurts this year.
Yeah,
I never was before, but he did have a pretty good fantasy outing last year. He was top 10 last year.
He was top.
He was number 9.
He was like top 4 for a long time.
He was there for a little bit, and then he kind of fell off a little bit. But he ended up at 9
because
at the end of the
this.
season. So
listen to this one team I had. This is a team I had with short benches. I think we only had like 4 people on the bench. That's tough. My starting quarterback was Herbert. And my backup quarterback was Hurts. So, like, having that, like, like problem of short benches, so I can't drop Hurts, but I'm never going to start Hurts over Herbert once the whole time. So like,
if those are your options, I'm going with Herbert.
Right.
Way more
and that's
times
what I did.
than-
But I couldn't get rid of Hurts. I couldn't just drop him. And,
That's true.
And nobody
you don't
would
want
trade.
you don't want to drop him.
And nobody would trade for him.
That's what we call trade bait. If you can get somebody to trade.
But nobody would trade for him either because it was what it was. And I crushed that league. I was that unfortunate guy that had like third highest points every week, but played the number one guy almost every week. So that was that.
That's tough.
Yeah,
that's
so-
tough when you get.
It
You're like,
happens.
oh wow, I scored 180, and my opponent scored 187.
So that was that team, but that was stacked. So all right, we'll move on to Dave Richards' number 9 quarterback, and that is Dak Prescott, and I have Dak at 8.
I have Dak at 10,
Ooh, okay. And Jay has Dak at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
and it's not because I don't like Dak, because I do. And the year that he got hurt, I'm pretty sure he was on pace for like 500 yards a game.
He was the number one by far.
Number one quarterback in the league that
Yep.
year. And then he dislocated the ankle and missed the rest of the season. Came back last year and had a great year, though.
Newsflash, I think he did more than dislocated his ankle.
Yeah, he did some damage. They called it a dislocation.
It
Whatever.
was compound. It was through the skin.
But he's at Dave Richard has him at number 9. I have him at number 10.
Yeah.
So we're not too far off
I
there.
got him at
You
8.
have him at 8.
I like him.
What did Jay have him at?
Jay had him at 7, I think.
7. Okay.
So I like him. I mean, he's a good passer and he's a good runner. He's got good weapons.
He does.
He's got one of the best offenses in the NFL.
Yep. Very good offensive line.
Like just like the last few quarterbacks we talked about, he doesn't run as good as those guys. But we would never say that Dak Prescott can't throw the ball. Dak Prescott can swing it. He's got loose hips. We've all seen the videos of him loosening up them hips.
Yeah, I think Dak has an arm for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And CeeDee Lamb is one of the better receivers in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Probably top 10.
Mm-hmm.
He lost Cooper, but we've all said this before. Who cares?
Yeah, but got Gallup to probably step
But
up.
Gallup is going to step up
Dalton
in a
Schultz.
big way. And Schultz is going to probably have another 100-plus target year.
2 great running backs.
2 great running backs, and Zeke and Pollard. Pollard catches a little bit more than Zeke out of the backfield, but Zeke can catch the ball.
Zeke catches the ball, yeah.
He catches his fair share as well.
So I think people are sleeping on Dak. I think I might
I
even be
agree.
sleeping on Dak.
I probably am too by having him at 10.
Yeah.
Honestly, I can probably have Dak. Now that I look at my list, I can probably put him above Hurts.
There's no reason
Maybe
that
Lamar.
I'm saying the same. There's
Is that
no
too
reason
much?
that Dak couldn't be above Hurts and Kyler
I agreed.
for me. So
Yeah, that's fair for me. So that would put him at 7 for me. So same. That's where you know one higher
Yeah.
than you. But Dak's he's a solid option if he's there, and a lot of people are sleeping on him. So you're probably going to get him in a late round.
Yeah.
5, 6, 7, maybe.
I'd be happy with him on my team.
with that.
So I know we're rushing things, but I think we're going to end up talking more about some later quarterbacks.
I think so, too.
And we're at 41 minutes already, so let's keep moving.
Yeah.
So Dave Richards, number 10 quarterback. Now people are going to think this is blasphemy. Is Joe Burrow, defending AFC champion Joe Burrow
Where do you have Burrow?
at 10?
Okay. I have him at 5.
Jesus Christ!
And the reason being is I love his receiving core. He's got Jamar Chase. Yes, he's a big play guy, but T. Higgins is still there. Tyler Boyd, and he's got a great running back in Mixon. I know you guys fucking can't stand
So
Joe
boring.
Mixon, but
Well, Jay won up to. Jay has him at 4.
wow.
So I can't not buy into Burrow
Okay.
that high. I just cannot buy into
But he
Burrow
had a
that high.
great season.
He did.
And don't get me wrong. Yes, okay, they made it to the next round of the playoffs on a tipped pass and maybe a little luck on his side. But he played great all season, especially coming back from the injury.
And he
You
could
can't
be better.
deny that he had a great season.
Young players having that much success getting to the Super Bowl have a tendency to shit the bed the next year. They just do. So I don't buy into it for
I don't
this
know,
year.
because he started off pretty strong on that season. He got injured.
He was
And
fine.
that was his rookie year, wasn't it?
Last year was only his second year.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
but
Technically, that
I'm telling
sophomore
you-
slump wasn't there.
No. But this is like his sophomore slump to me. Like he just because that was kind of his rookie year almost. He only played like 5 games.
I guess.
You know what I'm saying? So like in my head,
But
it's like
technically, he's not a rookie, so
a young kid making it all the way up there. I didn't look Joe Burrow like Joe Burrow carried this team. I look like Jamar Chase carried this team.
Yeah, he was the second receiver on, I believe, right after Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
Right. So 1,600 yards or so.
So I just felt like this was Jamar
but
Chase's
I
team.
do agree with the big play ability that
Sure.
Jamar Chase is. I probably, if it's between Chase and Jefferson, I'm going Justin Jefferson. But that's because the Vikings are claiming to go to a more pass-happy offense, but
The dude was dominant on a running team.
But he was great on a running team.
So
with that,
and I hate to spoil for you folks at home, you Joe Burrow stands. They're a running team also in Cincinnati. They were just very efficient.
They are.
And it's hard to buy into that level of efficiency a whole next year. Not saying that these guys are going to suck. Not saying I wouldn't want Joe Burrow on my team. I just told you I'm comfortable with 15 people deep starting.
for sure.
There's a lot of good options.
I agree.
I just see a downtick, and I'm more comfortable. Joe Burrow could also be my number 7, but I've got Kyler, Dak ahead of him, and another guy that I'll talk about. And, a lot of those guys, just the running puts it over for me. Because if Joe Burrow has a bad game, or God forbid Jamar Chase got hurt, I literally feel that if Jamar Chase got hurt and missed 7 games, Joe Burrow is not startable. I literally feel that way about him.
I think that's a bit of a stretch to say, but I could see it.
He's
He's
the
focal
only
point of
one.
the offense, and that was the point. And,
That's
and
the only
he had all eyes on him during the preseason when he was dropping everything and this guy's not going to be good. And then he came out and was number 2.
I'm not saying Jamar Chase sucks.
No, not by any means.
I just said if he got hurt or something,
You're
I don't
thinking
think
that
Joe Burrow's
Burrow
worth
doesn't
starting.
have the ability to overcome
but he doesn't
it.
have that. He's not. To me, I don't put him up there with even though we shit on Rodgers. Rodgers is probably going to be good. He's probably going to end up top 7 or something this year.
He is, but he's out
right?
of my top 10.
He's out of my top 10, but he's just that kind of quarterback, right?
Yeah,
and
that's
so
true.
is Josh Allen, and so is Patrick
But
Mahomes. So.
I rank him high because of what he has around him, and I'm not looking at it as in these guys are going to get hurt and
right.
you can't start him. Right. So based on that, he's another guy that has great weapons around him, and T. Higgins is no slouch, and Tyler Boyd is no slouch either. Sure. He's the oldest receiver on the roster, but
and he's 27.
Yeah, and that's exactly right.
You're right.
So
you're right.
That's all I have to say about Burrow, and that's why I rank him.
Well, Jay's got him at 5. That's insane to me.
That's a little crazy.
I think you guys are both crazy. I could put Burrow at 7 or 6, maybe even 6. I got Hurts. I really like Hurts. I can almost put him at 7 above Kyler and Dak. But I just can't do that. Okay, all right. We'll move on to
number 11.
Number 11, Derek Carr, who he has in the top 12, and it's interesting to me. I have Derek Carr at 13, just out of the top 12.
I have Derek Carr at 13 as well.
Jay, on the other hand, has Derek Carr at 1, 2,
So
3,
Derek
4,
Carr
5,
ranked
6,
13 last year.
Jay has
fantasy.
him at 8.
That's a bit of a stretch.
Jay has him at 8, so I'm very comfortable.
I could see it based on what he has around him.
I mean, he was 13. He's got a new offensive head coach and a new receiver.
A new head coach, Josh McDaniels. And we know what he did in New England. He was I'm pretty 4 Super Bowls. I think,
number 1 offense of all time.
Number 1 offense ever. And not that Derek Carr needed help being a good quarterback, because he was very under the radar for a long time, and I think this actually helps him fly above it now with Josh McDaniels being there.
This is the second I've ever seen him. This is the second highest I've ever seen him.
This is the best wide receiver that he's ever had.
Yep.
And Devonte Adams coming over from Green Bay in a massive turn of events for Aaron Rodgers, because they didn't sign,
And we know that they were college teammates.
They were college teammates,
got that man crush.
And they have that rapport already.
And look what it did for Joe Burrow.
Hunter
and
Renfrow
Chase.
came on late last season, and Darren Waller's still there, and Josh Jacobs, and these guys are, and Kenyon Drake's still there too. These guys are going to be good. I think they're going to
stand. So
you are a Raiders fan. Mm-hmm. I could see the Raiders winning the division.
It's my pick. I already picked
honestly.
them,
I still have the Chiefs up there, but I do think that the Raiders have a really good shot at it.
And I know Jay has him ranked the highest, and that's because Jay would say everything we're saying. Jay leans a little more towards pocket passers than we do.
True.
So that's why he's so high.
And Derek Carr has been a guy that's 4,000 plus yards every year. And
doesn't score a lot of touchdowns.
Doesn't score a lot of touchdowns,
But
and
now
that's
he's-
his downfall.
but
But now
now-
that he has Devonte Adams.
that guy's 17 touchdowns a year sometimes.
Exactly.
So, I mean, even if that adds 8 onto Carr, that brings him probably over 30
Totally
a year.
agree.
So I'm more than comfortable. Even though I have him at 13, I'd be more than comfortable.
I have him
he's
at,
the kind
at
of
13
start.
as well, and I could see him in the top 10.
He's the start for me of like, if I get him, I might want another backup that's pretty good. That's just kind of like...
If I got Derek Carr as my... I actually had Derek Carr as my starter last year in one of my leagues, and I did horrible, and it wasn't because of him. It was because of the rest of my team shit the bed. But I'm happy with Derek Carr in a later round. If I don't get the top, 4 or 5 quarterbacks early, like they're going in most drafts, I'm good with waiting. And if Derek Carr's there in the 8th, 9th, 10th round, I'm in.
Well, here's some other Derek Carr debates before we move on. Jamie from CBS has Derek Carr where we got him at 13, but Heath has Derek Carr down at 16. So they have some debates there for us. So keep that all in mind, folks. We're going to move on to Dave Richards' number 12 overall quarterback, and that's reigning, defending Super Bowl champion Matt Stafford. He has him at 12, and I've got him at 11.
I have him at 9.
Okay.
In my top 10. And the reason being is because I am very high on Stafford, and I have been ever since he was in Detroit. This guy had multiple 5,000-yard seasons with one of arguably the best wide receivers in the league, Calvin Johnson.
But only for a few.
But only for a few years because
6
he
years
retired
maybe,
early.
yeah.
But Matthew Stafford can get it done. The guy's a gunslinger, and he's got some really good weapons around him. We know what their offense is. I mean, they just won the Super Bowl, so how can you not put him in the top 10?
The best fantasy football receiver, Cooper Kupp. They brought in Allen
the Triple
Robinson.
Crown, by the way.
Yeah.
Most yards, most receptions, most touchdowns.
They
for a
brought
wide
in
receiver.
Allen Robinson, who could have a rebirth, but I think Allen Robinson's gross.
I kind of disagree with that. I think Allen Robinson, he's
living off of 2 good years out of like 7.
in Jacksonville with nobody.
There's at some point you need to be a good receiver.
I agree
with a bad quarterback.
But he didn't play a lot in Chicago, and when he did play, he had Mitch Trubisky.
He was also a big whiny baby in Chicago.
Exactly.
So,
and not saying that Mitch Trubisky is bad because he still has a winning record in Chicago. By the way, a lot of people
I like Mitch.
do not know that.
Yeah, I like Mitch.
So Stafford ranks 9 for me. Super Bowl champion. Has a good, and we still don't know about Beckham yet. So if he comes back,
But he's a free agent.
but
so
he's a
they'd have
free
to
agent
sign
now,
him.
so they'd have to re-sign him.
But they still have Van Jefferson.
But they
who
have
I
Van
think is
Jefferson,
great.
who's a great deep guy.
Yeah, I think he's great.
Tyler Higbee's there, and they have good running backs. We're not sold on Cam Akers.
But they're not even a running team. So
They're not. And Darrell Henderson did catch a lot of balls out of the backfield.
But one thing
surprisingly, because he's a big back too.
One thing they do have, which until he's unseated, is I think the best offensive mind in the NFL and the coach Sean McVay.
I agree.
So they have that. The guy took Jared Goff to a Super Bowl.
Agreed.
And off of like the legs of broken Todd Gurley.
Agreed.
So the moment he gets Matt Stafford, a more than capable quarterback, a top 15 quarterback in the league,
Super
they
Bowl.
win the Super Bowl. So
And Matt Stafford was the 5th quarterback last year in fantasy football.
So great. I mean,
I'm dropping him down a little bit, and it's only because he has Allen Robinson as opposed to Beckham.
I think that's a
and
downgrade.
Robert Woods is gone.
Yeah.
He went to Tennessee.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about that. Yeah, I think that's a downgrade.
So Allen Robinson you're right, he did have 2 good years in Jacksonville, and everybody was like, oh, he needs to get out of there and be great, and then shit the bed in Chicago.
With a better quarterback.
But it was just a bad offense in Chicago, so there's that. But that's really all I have to say about Stafford.
Yeah, I mean, but he's also we get more exciting because of the running. He's just kind of boring at the same time too. He's just Mr. Efficient. He's not as good as like Tom Brady when it comes to pocket stuff. Brady's just more exciting. You know what I mean?
True.
And it's just like,
But Stafford's a guy that had 35 touchdowns.
right.
So
Well, we'll move on to Dave Richards, number 13, number 13, and that's, spoiler alert, Aaron Rodgers.
yes, I have Aaron Rodgers at 11. And the only reason why is because it's Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, do you want to know where I have him?
Probably not even in the top 20.
I have him at 14.
Okay, so we're not too far off. So he's at Dave Richard has Aaron Rodgers. That's a lot to say.
At 13,
God
along
damn.
as well as Jay. Jay has him at
Jay
13.
has him at 13. I have him at 11, and it is because
No
it's
weapons.
Aaron Rodgers. But he also has no weapons, so that's why he falls out of my top 10.
Yeah. But this is the reigning, defending NFL MVP.
2 years in a row.
2 years in a row. Motherfucker.
Bastard. Yeah, I mean, it's just Aaron Rodgers. What else do you say about him? He has nothing right now. His best receiver is Alan Lazard is his number one.
I mean,
He got a bunch of rookies.
that's a good question. Is it?
As far as I can tell, it should be. I mean, who's going to take over?
Well, there's the Lazard and there's the Lizard.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Sammy Watkins, right. But they only have him for 3 games.
And there's
Bush.
There's Christian Watson, the rookie,
If Rodgers can trust him.
which I don't buy. Just
I don't buy
because
it.
Rodgers doesn't do rookies.
I keep seeing reports about, Christian Watson, he can make an immediate impact. Okay, well, that's up to his quarterback throwing him the ball.
Right.
And if he wants to see the field or not.
Another sleeper in this Green Bay offense is when he comes back from injury is Robert Tunyan
He was really good for Rodgers.
in 2020.
But the problem is that he had one good game that he scored 3 touchdowns, and everybody was like, wow, this guy is going to be used a lot. And then everybody picked him up off free agency, and I think he scored maybe 2 touchdowns the rest of the season.
Yeah.
So is he really that sleeper-ish?
Well, it's kind of the same thing we were ending.
Or are we just going based on they don't have anybody to throw to?
Well, let's stick. Well, that's the thing too. But so we're pushing Rodgers down because of not having any weapons. But I said it earlier. Probably going to finish top 6 or 7.
I agree. He probably will, and then he's gonna cry again, and then they'll just hand him the MVP because he's gonna throw 39 touchdowns and 3 interceptions this year instead of 4 last year.
That is impressive. I mean,
it is. You can't deny it. But
well, I'm just
when you throw 43 touchdowns and you have 5,600 yards,
right.
I'm sorry.
Well, I don't want to talk about Aaron Rodgers anymore. We're going to move on.
Let's go. Number 14.
Number 14, Captain Kirk Cousins. He has him at 14. I has him at 15. And for me, Kirk Cousins could start for me. He's my last comfortable, not even comfortable, but he'd be a starter and I'd be all right.
I have him at 14, and I'm comfortable with him starting for me as well.
And Jay has
Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, Irv Smith Jr., one of the best running backs in the league, Dalvin Cook,
Jay has him
President
at
of
14.
the United States, Alexander Madison.
President of the United States, yep. It's a great nickname.
Great offense.
And it's supposed to be better.
And it's supposed to be better.
Brought over the offensive coordinator from the Rams.
Yep.
So
looking to go to a more pass-heavy offense, I think, can only benefit Jefferson and Thielen. Not that they didn't benefit already in a super run-heavy offense. They can only go up from here.
But Kirk Cousins has been a number 12, the top 12.
But he's also another one of those guys
that
he flies under the radar that a lot of people don't really realize that until you look at his stats, you're like, holy shit, he just threw for 4,800 yards.
Wouldn't be surprised.
Holy shit, he threw for 4,500 yards. Like that's pretty good.
I think Kirk Cousins, due to the new offense, has the possibility of finishing 14 to 17 or like 3rd overall. Like I
agree.
know.
He has that potential, and his biggest problem in the NFL is that
he's had Mike Zimmer as a head coach.
Yes, that's a huge problem. But he doesn't throw a lot of touchdowns. So you're only looking at like 20 to 30 touchdowns, which isn't really a whole lot for a quarterback, but he throws a lot of interceptions as well.
But he is an accurate quarterback.
But he's accurate. And he has 2 great receivers, and I like Adam Thielen. I think he's still got it. He's still got it.
Lay off of Jay's boy.
I'm drafting him. I'm telling you. I'm going to draft him.
Ooh.
I've drafted a couple best ball teams already, and Thielen is on it. So,
well, let's because of we're running out of time here. Let's finish Dave's top 15, and here's going to be the controversial one. Trey Lance, he's got a 15. Adam, where do you have Trey
I have
Lance?
Trey Lance at 17, so I'm not too far off.
My goodness. I'm looking for Jay. Hang on. What does Jay have?
Jay's got to have him low. There's no way.
Jay has him right after Cousins. So Jay's kind of just in line here.
So,
do you want to know where I have him, Adam?
you have to have him in your top 10.
He's at 9.
He's at 9 for you? And you don't even know anything about him.
He's just above Burrow because it's that running factor. Those two could be swapped. I even said that. Burrow could go above those guys.
That is true.
So it's just that running factor. You want to talk about weapons? I mean, he's got Deebo Samuel. He's got Brandon Ayuk. He's got that running game that's always going to be somebody new and somebody's going to be good. He's got George Kittle. So he's got the weapons.
He does have the weapons.
He's got the offensive genius.
The offensive talent around him to be great.
He's got an offensive genius head coach.
I only put him at 17 because I don't know what he can do.
And that is so friggin' low. It's disgusting. I can't believe that.
Well, call up your boy Dave here and tell him to get him out of the top 15, or tell him to put him higher.
That's fair. They all have him low here.
They do.
So I think so. Does Jamie have him higher?
Yeah,
Jamie has him at 10.
10
at least. So I'm at least vindicated
and
there.
Heath has him at
Heath had him low.
Yeah,
15.
he has him at 15.
So I'm excited about him, and I like him. I have him above Burrow and Stafford and Russ, easily above Russ, and I just have him above Burrow and Stafford just because of that running ability. That's it.
I don't hate the idea of him being a top 10 quarterback, but I couldn't put him there personally because I don't know what he's got.
It's tough. He is scary. And I mentioned this.
He's a big risk, but if you take him as your starting quarterback and then you draft Derek Carr or Kirk Cousins like you did in the mock, or Rodgers or Matt Ryan even, I'd be okay with it.
That's what I will do if I get him. Like it kind of goes like this. Like I would if you look at my top 20. Like just whatever it is. If I draft Josh Allen at 1, I'm probably going to draft 20 as my backup if I draft a backup.
Right. If
I draft Herbie at 2, I'm probably going to draft my number 9. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So like Kurt,
I get you.
So like I got Trey down there at 10. I'm probably going to draft like 12 or 13 as the backup just because I would feel more comfortable.
Totally agree.
That's just kind of how I run it and I do it. And it's also like if I draft, say, Tom Brady, I might be looking at somebody more about dynamic in the draft later, like Justin Fields or Marcus Mariota. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if I draft Trey Lance or Jalen Hurts, I'll be looking at like Aaron Rodgers, Matt Ryan, Carr or something to get.
Does Jay have Justin Fields on his list?
Let me see. Well, we're not there, but I'm saying
not.
He does. He does have Fields in the top 20.
Okay, I don't have him in the top 20 at all.
Okay. All right. So there's the top 15. Let's just quickly go through the next couple. And just tell me where you got him.
We're not going to talk too much about these guys because
Dave's 16 and 17. Tua and Jameis Winston. For me, I've got Tua at 16 because Tua's pretty good. He's got awesome weapons coming in, and I've got Jameis at 19. But the same things could be said. Great weapons coming. Great weapons taking over. The guy's got talent. Do you have those guys in your top 20?
I have Tua at 20.
You're Tua at 20,
and I don't have Jameis. I don't have Jameis on there.
And Jay's got Tua at 17.
And
he's got Winston at 20.
Yeah, see, I don't have them. I have. I probably could.
We'll just finish off Dave's last.
I could
couple
definitely.
Here. And then Dave's last three.
Dave's
last three are Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence, and Ryan Tannehill. 18, 19, 20. I have Fields at 17.
I don't have him.
I don't have Tannehill in the top 20, and I don't have Trevor Lawrence in the top 20.
I do. I have him at 19.
Okay. And Jay has Fields at 18, Trevor Lawrence at 19.
So my 15 is Matt Ryan.
Okay.
And I put him there only because he has a better offensive line.
I agree. Matt Ryan
in Indianapolis.
I think
he'll be better. My 16 is Baker Mayfield, and I think the trade really worked out for him. I think people discredit Baker a lot.
I just want to say Dave Richards has Mayfield at 28.
Yes, he does. And I think it's because it's a QB battle between him and Darnold, and they're not sure if he's the starter.
Okay.
So if he is the starter, I think he could definitely crack the top 20.
Okay.
But he has DJ Moore, probably the best receiver he's had besides Odell Beckham, who they didn't they didn't use at all because I don't know if people know this stat, but Beckham had 5 touchdowns in 3 years in Cleveland, and then had 5 touchdowns in, 10 games in LA. So with that being said, Robbie Anderson was a good option in New York for Darnold, and I think that when they brought Darnold in, that it would kind of rekindle that, and it didn't, because Darnold is garbage. And it's a huge upgrade in Mayfield, and I hate that they're even calling it a QB competition, because if you don't start Baker Mayfield over Sam Darnold, there's probably something wrong, and I think Matt Rule probably gets fired.
And where did you have him?
I have him at 16, and it's only because he wasn't really that good last year, but he has a new team and a new offense, and I'm curious to see what he can do with it.
All right, give me the rest of your
So
20.
the rest of my team is 17 is Lance, 18 is Carson Wentz.
Okay.
And I only did that because Terry McLaurin is probably one of the better receivers that he's ever had.
Yeah, he slept on sometimes.
But he slept on. I think he's better than people give him credit for. And then 19 and 20 are Trevor Lawrence and Tua.
Okay, and then what are your 2 deeper?
And my 2 deep ones are Daniel Jones and Mitch Trubisky. And Daniel Jones makes the list because I can see him up in the top 20, probably maybe in the 15 range, if Daboll can be the QB whisperer that everybody thinks he is.
I got Daniel Jones at my number 20, and I think Daniel Jones has got the potential to be a top.
He has the running ability,
15,
and he has the passing ability, as long as his fucking receivers can stay healthy, because he has had nobody to throw to. And if Barkley can stay on the field, then it could be a solid offense. And this is the best running back Daboll's ever had. So hopefully that I would like to see where that comes in. And then I have Mitchell Trubisky as a deep sleeper as well.
And so does Jay.
Because
I want to point that out. Jay has him as well as a deep sleeper.
It's a Mike Tomlin run offense. And if you start Mason Rudolph over Mitchell Trubisky, you have a fucking problem.
He won't. He won't start the rookie, and he's got a great.
And he's not
going to
start the rookie off the bat. And I don't think he'll start him in the whole season. To be honest, I don't think he should.
He's got a great running back,
great running back in Najee, great receivers in Claypool and Deontay, and Pat Freiermuth is probably a sleeper candidate for tight ends, maybe.
We talked about
him last episode, so go back and listen to that. But yeah, that rounds out my rankings for the quarterbacks.
So I'll run through Jay's real quick. The rest of Jay's rankings. I don't remember where we were. Trey Lance was, I think, 15. Yeah. Yep. Then he had Matt Ryan 16, Tua 17, Fields 18, Lawrence 19, Winston 20, and Jay's deep picks were Baker Mayfield and Mitch Trubisky, which we've discussed.
Okay.
The rest of my top 15, Kirk was 15, and then Tua was at 16, Fields at 17, Matt Ryan at 18, Jameis at 19, Daniel Jones at 20, which we talked about.
Who are your
Baker
sleepers?
Was one of my deep guys, and my other deep guy that nobody brought up all this whole time is Marcus Mariota.
Oh, I was going to say that.
Marcus Mariota knows you can run the ball with him. He's got a dynamic guy with Cordell Patterson. He's got Kyle Pitts. He's got I almost said Calvin Ridley, but he's got Drake London.
Suspended for the year.
Yeah, we got Drake London. He's got to do something. He's got to do something.
I agree. I think Mariota could end up there, but they just have such a bad offensive line.
I mean, let's see. Dave's got him ranked, Mariota. Dave's got Mariota ranked at, oh my God, 31.
Oof.
So I have him at, I didn't have him. I just have him late. Would not surprise me if Mariota.
Jimmy Garoppolo at 32, by the way, and that's because we don't know where he's going to be.
But I think Mariota, I wouldn't be surprised if it was a top 17, 15 quarterback.
Something I find interesting here, too, though, is he has Trubisky at 29 and Pickett at 30.
Because he thinks they're going to make the change, basically, I think.
I don't think they will. I don't think they should.
I agree.
Anyway. I'm happy with my list. You're happy with your list. There's a lot of discussion here on quarterbacks.
Sure. Yeah, we're a little long, so we're gonna. Yeah. I know we rushed this. We're over an hour now, so let's take our break, set up our draft, and you will join us back here with our second mock draft of the year. All right, and we're back. So, Adam, on this mock draft, we're doing something different this time along.
Tell me, Chazz, what are we doing?
So we've switched up the order. This time Jay's going first. You're going 6th. I'm going 12th. And I'm giving rules for this draft just to get different feels and just to see so people can see how different drafts pan out and we can all get practice. So your first round pick, do normal.
Okay.
And you'll get your rule when we get to where I want it to be.
Okay.
All right. So we're going to start off with Jay on the clock. Jay is drafting remotely from home. He has not gotten his surgery yet. He's getting it tomorrow morning. So he's just
prepping.
He's getting his affairs in order and whatnot. So Jay is on the clock. No surprise. It went Jonathan Taylor. Different draft already, though. Derrick Henry, Christian McCaffrey, Austin Eckler,
Big
Schuster,
running back
Jefferson,
run there.
And it's up to you. Are you looking at Coop?
No. And here's why. Because running backs are king, and I'm going to take Dalvin Cook there because I still know he's a great running back and a great offense.
Excellent. All right. So we went Cook, then Cooper Kupp, Najee Harris, Jamar Chase, Joe Mixon, and Travis Kelce went 11. So I'm on the clock. And there's no rules yet. Okay, so with my first pick, I'm taking you're right, running back is king. I'm taking my best rated running back, and that's DeAndre Swift.
I knew you were going to take Swift.
That's my boy.
Can I give you your first rule?
Sure.
First pick of the second round, you have to draft Josh Allen.
Okay, well, twist my arm, why don't you? Now, normally I wouldn't take him here, but it'll be fun to see what happens here. So I'm taking Josh Allen with this first pick of the second round. And after Josh Allen, it goes Devonte Adams, CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs, Mark Andrews.
Wow, what a wide receiver run there. I did not expect that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie, I did not expect that.
Yeah. Well,
okay.
I'm giving you a rule.
Oh, rule time.
Rule time. You're going to have to go. You know what? We're all going to do it. You got to take a quarterback here.
I have to take. Oh, okay. All right. Well, based on my list that I had earlier, can't bring myself. So, for those of you wondering why I'm having a struggle with it, is because they list
Herbert. Go take Herbert.
They list Patrick Mahomes as the next quarterback.
Sure.
I can't bring myself to do it based on what we talked about earlier. But I will take Justin Herbert here.
Okay.
So there's my quarterback.
And I told Jay that he has to take a quarterback as well. So Herbert's his. So we all taken a quarterback in the second round. So after Herbert, it went Chubb, Kamara, Aaron Jones, Deebo Samuel. So I'm assuming, Jay, if I remember his list, I think he's going to go Lamar here. I think was his number 3. I don't remember. But he's got to take.
He didn't have Brady.
So he took Mahomes. So okay. So now
that's okay. I guess take Mahomes there.
And he texted me that, and he said, "Adam's a cunt for taking my man." So
too bad.
Unless you want to throw some wild card rule in there at some time, no, we'll just draft his name.
Oh,
you little bitch, Jay. You little bitch,
Saquon Barkley from Jay.
So Jay took Saquon Barkley.
He took the boy.
Then we went Leonard Fournette, Mike Evans, Kyle Pitts, James Conner, and now you're up. Do whatever you want. No, I got no more
rules on this one?
Go. Do whatever you want.
So here I am. Oh, shit.
The rules are just basically we all took a quarterback in the second round.
Yeah. We can make it fun.
We'll see how our team goes.
We made it fun. I know now that I took a running back and a quarterback, my draft strategy changes here, and the reason being is because all your wide receivers are not gone, but the studs are gone. Not you can get some guys now, but Keenan Allen's still there, A.J. Brown. But I'm not going to draft them because I know that there are guys later on that can still produce.
Sure.
So here I'm going to take another running back, and I'm going to take Zeke.
Okay.
In the third round. I like it.
Then we went Zeke, A.J. Brown, Terry McLaurin, Javonte Williams, Cam Akers. Keenan Allen.
There goes Keenan Allen.
And that's what I was hoping for.
Chazz was looking for a wide receiver there to pair with his DeAndre Swift and Josh Allen picks. But now you have 2, though.
I do have 2. I'm looking at these running backs here. Okay.
Yeah, they're a little rough.
Dude, Breece Hall, are you kidding me?
Nope.
This high? That is insane.
Nope.
Insanity.
Mind you, can I just tell you, James Conner went before me?
He did?
By the way.
Yeah. He went the little early. You took him later in the third round, and he went a little earlier in the third round.
But he went a little earlier.
All right. Well, I guess my pick here is going to be I'm going Antonio Gibson.
That's not a bad pick.
Yeah. Have you ever had those Bush apples?
I've never had them. I'm going to try it right now.
I want your reaction.
First sip.
I want your reaction on these. Live on the podcast. Live on film.
Wow, it's very appley.
I said,
but I also taste a lot more beer in it than I thought.
This is my this is how
I've had better
I
apple
described
beers.
it. It's not a beer, but it's not a cider.
Yeah, agreed.
Like, it's weird. It's like its own thing.
It's very weird. I've had better apple beers,
but I like it. It's Busch.
It's good. It's very good.
It's Busch. Okay. All right.
On the clock.
Well,
Round 4.
So I'm going with, I got 2 running backs and I got a strong quarterback, obviously.
Rule time.
What?
You have to take a wide receiver.
Okay. Well, I wasn't gonna.
I know. That's why I made the rule.
Okay, fine. You're hurting me. You're killing me, Small.
We're just having some fun with this mock draft.
See, here's the thing.
Making some rules, but we're changing up everything too, because drafting not normally how we would, and the way that the computer is drafting everything as well completely changed from what it was last week.
Right. And that's the point.
That's the point of what we're doing.
This might be a reach, but if I'm expecting more production from this guy, and I feel like if he produces where he is, he'll be a number 1, and that's going to be Michael Pittman.
I like it.
So
he's got a new quarterback.
Yep.
So I'm okay with it.
So we went T. Higgins, David Montgomery, George Kittle, DJ Moore, Deontay Johnson. It's back on the clock to you.
I know what I want to do here, but I have a feeling you're going to rule me.
Well, I know what you want to do. You're going to go and try to take a tight end.
I am.
And
you know who I'm going to take because he's the best one left.
And that's who I was thinking there, too.
Okay.
But I think you should go receiver.
Okay.
Because we're basically the same at this point.
Okay. I will take a wide receiver.
You know what I'm saying? So we started the same exact way on this point. I'm going to tell Jay, too, he's got it. So hang on one second. Don't.
Yeah, tell Jay he's got to take a wide receiver?
Yeah, so that way we all start out the same.
Okay, so I do like what's left. There are some wide receivers that I definitely would take, and it just makes sense here. If I have to take a wide receiver, I'm taking Jalen Waddle.
That's the other one I was thinking about. Oh, and then Waller went. So you went Waddle, then we went Waller.
To be fair, without the rule, I would have taken Waller there.
Too.
I had a feeling he was going to go within the next 4 picks, and he went right after. So that's a steal for him in the 4th round for sure.
And then it went Etienne,
Big Booty Judy,
Big Booty Jerry Judy,
and DK Metcalf.
And we're on the board. I told Jay he has to take a receiver. So, and then that way. We started off the exact same, all of us. Quarterback, running back,
quarterback, running back,
receiver. Now it's a free-for-all.
Every man for himself?
Yep.
Sounds good.
And he went Mike Williams.
That's a good pick.
So I don't think there should be any more rules now.
I think here's my take on Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. They're probably going to be the only tandem besides Jamar Chase and T. Higgins taken within the first 4 rounds.
Okay, fair. For sure.
Because T. Higgins was taken earlier in that round.
But
no other team has wide receivers that are probably,
when I took Pittman, he was like Sleeper's number 1 ranked receiver. But I think when I do my rankings, I'm going to have Pittman above Higgins.
I think so too.
So,
and I think because he had a great season and he had Carson Wentz as his quarterback.
Right.
Now he's got Matt Ryan.
Clear upgrade.
Absolutely. A big upgrade. Not a big upgrade, but definitely.
I think it's a big upgrade.
I think so.
Matt Ryan.
I like Matt. I've always liked Matt Ryan. I was in one fantasy football league. It was my first year. I ended up with Matt Ryan on my team. Went to the championship. I ended up keeping him in like.
Ew, Jay went Allen Robinson. That's nasty.
Gross.
That's gross, Jay.
Yeah, Jay lost the draft.
Oh, Jay, that's gross. Speaking of gross, then it went J.K. Dobbins, Breece Hall, Cortland Sutton. That was ugly. And then Josh Jacobs went.
That's a bad round. Except
Were you
for
waiting
Josh
on Josh
I was
Jacobs
gonna
there?
wait on. I was gonna take Josh Jacobs there, and that's okay.
Okay.
I'm definitely not gonna take a running back because I'm happy with my 2 running backs that I have. I'm going to take another wide receiver here, but I'm not going to take Amari Cooper because I'm going to take Marquise Brown here.
It's a good choice. That's who I was hoping.
In the 5th round, I'm okay with it.
I was hoping he would fall. We went Elijah Mitchell, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Amari Cooper, A.J. Dillon.
Amari Cooper, get out of here. You'll never be on my team.
Amari.
A.J. Dillon, you'll definitely be on my team.
All right, so I'm looking at now probably a receiver.
There's no rules anymore, so
No more
we're allowed to draft however we want. We just wanted to start the first 4 rounds because those really are your big picks. Your first 4 rounds, those are the ones that you have to hit on.
Right. We would never take quarterbacks that early, so now it's making us draft different.
Yes.
So I'm looking for a QB2 or a receiver 2, and I know he's hurt, but I don't give a shit. Chris Godwin staring me in the face.
That's a great pick.
Yeah, I mean, I got to go Chris Godwin.
You have to take the chance on him. I agree.
And
for the bookends, the start of the 6th round.
Yeah. Running backs are gross. Ugh. Running backs are disgusting right now. Oh, my goodness. Oh, yeah. Running backs are fucking gross. You know what, dude? I'm going crazy here. I went Godwin, who might not play. I'm going another guy that might not play here. Give me Michael Thomas.
That is kind of surprising because he is on the PUP list already.
Yes, but
there's
not
still
really,
a lot of time
it's
left.
not the season.
He could come off of it.
You ended up
For
going
sure.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Kyle Murray, Miles Sanders,
Kyler
Amon-Ra
Murray,
St.
hot.
Brown.
Miles Sanders, hot.
Amon-Ra St. Brown. Ugh.
I'd rather have Amon-Ra than Miles Sanders and Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Oh, for sure. But I thought you were going to say the Michael Thomas.
Oh God, no.
Okay.
No, Michael Thomas. I mean, it's Michael Thomas. You know what he's got. He's got Jameis Winston throwing the ball.
Sure, Jameis was decent.
I'm pretty sure they officially made Taysom Hill a tight end.
Yeah.
So he's not playing quarterback.
No.
He might come in and do that stupid little package that they do, and
You know about
he'll
stupid
run the
little
ball.
packages.
I do.
Giggity.
No comment. I'm on the clock, and this is a weird one for me because I already have two great running backs. Jalen Waddle's great. Marquise Brown he could end up being hit or miss. But in this round, I'm gonna take.
You could break Jay's heart and take Adam Thielen.
I could break Jay's heart and take Adam
plus
Thielen.
you already took his other man crush.
I did take Justin Herbert, and I think because of that reason, I am gonna take Adam Thielen.
I think you should.
I'm gonna do it just because I want to see what he says when he texts Chazz in a minute.
We're assholes. All right,
But that's how drafts go. That's
Right.
how fantasy, you want the guy on your team. You don't want him on your
Right.
opponent's team. So,
all right, we went Adam Thielen,
but we had a little run of tight ends there.
Brandon
Dalton
Cooks.
Schultz and T.J. Hawkinson. I'm waiting on a tight end, and those are going to be the guys that I'm probably just going to cycle in and out every week if I have to.
And also Dak Prescott went. When Jay took Ken
Walker, I would have taken Rashad Penny over Ken Walker.
I would too. Just because Pete Carroll's so
I think
old.
Jay is a little mad at me for taking his boy.
We got.
I got both his boys.
Jay's reeling right now.
I got Herbert and I went Thielen.
Jay's
So
on the ropes right now.
He's ready to dive off the top rope and drop kick me straight
Jay's
through.
reeling. He doesn't know
straight
what to
through
do
my chest.
Right now. Who took Zach?
Zach
Ertz?
Ertz.
Oh my goodness, that's
I was hoping DeAndre Hopkins would have fell back to me because I would have taken 4 receivers in a row.
what
by
a
the way.
big QB run too.
But a nice QB run there. Russell Wilson wouldn't have taken him. Aaron Rodgers wouldn't have taken him. Tom Brady, can't believe he was still there.
Right. And then DeAndre
and then
lost too.
DeAndre Hopkins in between there as well. I would have taken Hopkins if he came back to me, but I'm not going to because he's gone. And we're gonna look at running backs here, and it's not looking great.
Well, the verdict is in. Oh no, Jay just said my team stinks.
Which he's not wrong. I'm gonna take the guy that's gonna split. I'm gonna take Kareem Hunt.
That's a good choice. That's why I was eyeballing.
Yep.
Definitely a good choice.
No. I'm waiting on tight ends because all the other tight ends that I would have taken are gone. So now it doesn't matter who I take.
Well, the running backs are really getting thin, and I only got 2 right now.
I'm actually looking at one guy, and I'm going to tell Chazz because Jay can't hear me. And it's Dawson Knox. If Chazz doesn't take Dawson Knox within these next 2 rounds,
telling you right now,
I'm taking him when I get back.
I need to load up on running backs now because
He does
they're getting
because
thin. They're getting thin.
Yes.
So
And which is why I went Kareem Hunt because we all started the same way.
Who
And
I
I went
wish
on
I
a
would've
3
got.
wide receiver run. Chazz went on a 3 wide receiver run. And Jay did 2 wide receivers and a running back as well as a tight end there. So.
even though he's scary, I enjoyed him last year. I got to go Cordarrelle Patterson.
Did we go through those picks, by the way? I picked
sorry.
Kareem Hunt. Damian Harris was next. Darnell Mooney, Drake London, Juju, Matt Stafford.
All right, and then I took Cordarrelle Patterson.
High risk, high reward,
And then I'm going to go a little
but
more.
could totally fuck you.
And speaking of totally fuck me, I'm looking at these top two here. I'm looking at either Tony Pollard or Devin Singletary.
Sure.
And I think Devin's the starter. I'm going to go with Devin Singletary.
I agree, and I would have made the same decision solely based on that he is the starter.
Yeah.
Okay, good. This is good for me.
All right, we lost Hunter Renfrow, Dallas Goedert, Devontae Smith, Rashad Bateman, Chase Edmonds.
Chase Edmonds is a good pick there because he's right now named the starter until Mostert comes back.
Mostert got cleared yesterday.
Did he get cleared?
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure if he was or not, but I'm taking Dawson Knox here, and I hope Jay really cries about that one.
Elijah Moore.
But he did take Zach Ertz, so he might not be that
True,
bad.
he would have been out. Well, we went Elijah Moore, Treylon Burks, Tony Pollard, Gabriel Davis, and Jay's on the clock for 2. So, looking over Jay's team that he says sucks, we're looking at...
I don't think it does.
Jonathan Taylor, Patrick Mahomes, Saquon Barkley.
I think it does.
That's a great start. Mike Williams, great start. I'm not a fan of Allen Robinson. So, Ken Walker, you don't know. Zach Ertz, he just took Brandon Ayuk.
And that's why I would have taken Penny over Walker,
Yeah,
I think.
would too.
And just because Ken Walker is coming in as a free agent.
To be fair, Ken Walker, he took in the 4th round. Penny's still sitting here. He still has a chance to take Penny.
He does. He could.
You know.
And in my opinion, he probably should.
He probably should. I don't think he will, though.
I don't think he will. But it should definitely be something that he thinks about.
Right now he's going, oh, fuck. Oh,
so
my team fucking sucks.
I also fucked up, too, and I took Kareem Hunt. But I could have taken Pollard to back up Zeke. But
I did the same exact thing on last
But
draft.
the only thing that prevented me from doing that is I don't want a guessing game on who to start every week.
Right.
I just want to start Zeke.
True.
I don't want to have to be like, oh, well, maybe Pollard is going to be good, or maybe this week it's his week, and next week, or So I don't like to play the guessing game.
Well, Jay took my decision away from me because Jay ended up going with James Cook. So then we went Tyler Lockett, Rashard Penny, Melvin Gordon, Garrett Wilson, and now it's up to you.
And I'm on the clock again. And where are we? Round 9. Oops. Round 9, I am looking at definitely not another running back because, damn. I'm just going to go wide receiver here, and I'm going to take a chance that... How many wide receivers do I have? I have 3. So 4 will be good for me. I'm going to take a chance on Chris Olave.
Okay.
I'm not sold on him, but...
Whatever.
Well, yeah,
right?
These are the rounds where it's just like, eh.
These are the rounds where
if he hits, I'm in really good shape.
These are the rounds where you win your league.
Agreed.
I can't believe we're in the 9th round already. Holy shit.
We are flying through this one, which is okay, though, because we went a little long on the quarterback rankings, but it's okay.
It is okay.
Robert Woods was next, Pat Freiermuth, Christian Kirk, Mike Gesicki, Alan Lazard, and Chazz on the clock to end the 9th round.
So I don't know where this guy's going to go naturally, but I'm feeling 9th, 10th round. I'm on the swing here, so I'm going to go with him. Watch your device. Ready?
I'm looking.
Watch your device.
That, knowing the news that we just heard today, I love that in the 9th round, and I actually can't believe... Well, I don't think really anybody had a chance to draft him, so that's probably why he's not being drafted in this mock, because the way that we explained last week. Yeah. It's just a...
So we're talking Julio Jones.
Julio Jones was taken.
And now...
Signed in Tampa Bay with Tom Brady, trying to win that Super Bowl.
So now I'm looking at my tight ends that are here, and I don't really remember my rankings off the top of my head, but this is dart throw territory, so let me throw a dart. Oh, look, I hit Hunter Hurst Henry. That's who I...
That's not bad for the 10th round.
So I took him.
He's very touchdown dependent.
We went Trey Lance, David Carr, Michael Gallup, Michael Carter, Michael Claypool. No, Chase Claypool.
Derek Carr, David Carr, same thing.
I said David on purpose.
I know you did. Okay, that kind of, screws me up a little bit. I still think that Michael Carter should be drafted over Breece Hall, and I understand the hype around Breece Hall, but what can you do? So here's where I'm looking for a handcuff. I'm taking President of the United States, Alexander Madison, to back up Dalvin Cook, who is inevitably going to get hurt for a game, and Madison will be a great starter.
Is that my greatest nickname ever?
That's a great nickname, and I'm going to use that every time I draft him.
Jay's boy, Cole Kmet, Russell Gage, Isaiah Spiller, David Pierce.
I thought about Spiller there, but they have a lot of running backs too, and I don't really know how they're going to go.
Number 2. I mean, the other guys.
He's a rookie, right?
Yeah, Joshua Kelly. Like, get out.
Joshua Kelly and is the other one there? Justin Jackson.
Yeah, I mean those guys were trash.
Yeah, they didn't really do that well.
Trash among trash on trash. So that's where I had him. Now Jay's on the clock here for 2. You know, he's pacing around his room right now because he doesn't know any more players right now. So he's like,
he's scrambling right now because he only has 3 wide receivers in a pass-heavy NFL, and he's probably looking at a wide receiver here if I were to guess. And if he takes one...
If I know Jay, he's going to take Skye Moore. That's my guess.
I definitely think it's a wide receiver. So we'll see we'll see. He's got 55 seconds.
So yeah, he's scrambling right now. And
he's definitely panicking, and I can hear it in his voice.
Well, because none of us ever take a quarterback that early.
That's true. So it's different, and you draft differently when you do that. And then Skye Moore was the pick. So
we
definitely called that.
I know you, girl. And here's my next pick for Jay. I think Jay's going to take Jameson Williams. I think he's going back to back here.
Okay, I can see that.
That's
I can definitely see that.
And if he does that, he took 3 rookies in a row.
He did.
If he does that, so.
But 3 rookies that could really pan out.
Sure.
So
I hope I call this. I hope I get this right. Oh,
Bills he went with the Buffalo Bills defense.
Then we went Rashard Stevenson, Christian Watson, Kadarius Toney, James Robinson, who I was hoping fell.
James Robinson is a steal there.
I was hoping he fell.
Man, that's a good pick. Yep. Okay, so I'm looking at a backup quarterback, and I'm taking the best one available. I don't even care. Kirk Cousins, you're on my team.
Okay. See, I would never do that because of what I told you before. I got Josh Allen.
You do.
I'm not worried about a backup quarterback.
Right.
Whatsoever. So,
but it was getting late, and somebody else might snag him, so I'm definitely guaranteed to start Kirk Cousins at least one game. And in the event that he is actually better than Justin Herbert, which is highly unlikely, but they both do have really good wide receivers. And I took Adam Thielen, so that really helps me take Kirk Cousins too. So,
well, I am going to take running back PPR stud Nyheim Hines. Put him on my squad. And then I am going to get another tight end, even though I just drafted one, because it's just going to almost be pick and choose. So I am going to go with... well, I got to check the bye week real quick, actually. So as we said last week, these are the rounds where you really start to look for value, and these are the rounds that could really win you a league. Right. Getting a guy that kind of flies under the radar and who you hope to have a good year. Especially in deeper leagues, when you have 12, 14 guys, these rounds probably are a lot harder than you think. They win you the league.
But they could win you the league. These are the guys that...
I'm going Albert Okawebon.
Okay, that's a good backup tight end. But you also have Hunter Henry, so he could be a starter at some point.
It is for me like that.
I totally agree.
We want Irv Smith, Jarvis Landry, Rashad White, Justin Fields, Tyler Algier, and we're back for you. So you've got 3 more positional picks, kicker and defense.
Yes. And I'm okay with taking a defense or a kicker here, and I'm just going to take the best kicker and take Justin Tucker because we all know what that guy can do.
Mother Tucker. All right.
Draft. There we go.
And then we went to Sean Watson, Marquez, Valdez, Scantling, Kenny Galladay, Darrell Henderson, and we're back on the clock with Jay.
Henderson's a good pick there too, and it's super late, and a lot of people are taking Cam Akers just so damn high.
I know. He wasn't really good last year when he came back.
I really do think that Akers and Henderson should be drafted a lot closer together, and I don't like that he's falling. Well, actually, it could be good later on in some of my other drafts.
True.
I could take Henderson late, and Cam Akers can just
I'm
be good.
I can't do Cam Akers where he's going.
He's very high.
Yeah.
So I have Cam Akers on my team from last year, but I can keep him in my keeper league for a 12th round. I'm okay with that.
It's late, yeah.
It's super late. I drafted him because he was injured. A lot of people didn't realize he was there. He did come back, and he was not good.
No.
He looked slow, which was disappointing. I'm hoping that the offseason he can get right, but for a 12th round pick,
Sure.
that doesn't cost me anything.
Right.
So
I think Jay's falling asleep.
I think Jay is Jay. That had to be for those of you wondering. Chazz's phone just buzzed.
No, it wasn't Jay.
It wasn't Jay.
He went.
Damn.
Jay went with.
But he went. JD.
He went. JD McKissick. See what I
Yes.
did there?
I see what you did there.
See what I did there?
I see what you did there.
Fucking, he went with the snake, JD McKissick, and Evan McPherson. So he got his running back. Rondale Moore, Noah Fant, David Njoku, Marlon Mack, and we're on the clock with
And
you.
since I drafted kicker, I'm just going to stick in the same realms with the special teams
And you're gonna get some
go
D?
with the defense, and I'm going to take all the D, and I'm going with the LA Rams.
Hey, we're going with the Rams. So I know my exact 2 picks if no one steals them. So we went Higbee, Gainwell, Chargers.
It could have been the Buccaneers, but I like the Rams
Patrick.
defense more.
Butker. So I know the exact 2 people I'm taking. I'm taking another running back who's going to start 6 games this season, Mark Ingram.
I like it.
And then I'm taking a guy that I called as a sleeper pick last draft,
Yes, you did.
Jamison Crowder.
Okay. I like that.
So I still
So
have,
3 Buffalo Bills wide receivers have gone in this draft.
and then we went Buccaneers, Carlson, Tyler Bass, 49ers, but then we went Gay. Matt Gay.
Super gay.
And then we're up to you.
I am going to take the fastest running back alive, Raheem Mostert.
And, okay, you want Pastrami and Mostert. George Pickens, Trevor Lawrence, Jacoby Myers, DJ Chark. Do. Now, I just set myself up for no backup quarterback, but I don't give a fuck. I got Josh Allen.
It's okay. You have Josh Allen,
So-
and all you're going to have to do is drop a random guy who's not doing anything on your team.
But Adam, what if Josh Allen gets hurt? Well, then you'd worry about it then.
Exactly.
You don't sit there
Josh
with,
Allen is one
you
of
don't
those
sit
guys.
there with Trevor Lawrence on your roster.
Yeah, for no reason. Because he's going to be... I wouldn't even be surprised if Team 4 drops him because they have Dak Prescott. And I only went with a backup quarterback only because I love the quarterback to wide receiver connection, and I have Adam Thielen. So
But you went with a higher end backup.
But I went with a high-end backup because he was sitting there.
Well, I mean, when I was
also
looking
in
at there...
the 11th round?
Well, yeah, when
I'm
I was
okay with
looking at
that.
there was Trevor Lawrence, Matt Ryan, Jameis Winston, Mac Jones, Zach Wilson. Nobody I really want.
Right. So...
I don't see any upside for any of those guys. None of those guys are going to finish top 10.
Exactly.
Where Kirk Cousins could finish top 10.
Completely agree.
So
my least concern is tight end. I have Dawson Knox. I'm not even going to draft the backup. So my last two picks.
Oh, Jay had to get his bear love in, and Khalil Herbert, but not a bad
He
pick.
did. It's not a bad pick, and he takes
He went with
takes Gronk in the 15th round of this mock draft, and we had a defense run: Dallas Cowboys, Baltimore Ravens, kicker Matt Prater, and the New Orleans Saints. Wait, did anybody? Okay, Tampa Bay went. Okay, I was just making sure because I didn't see them go. I am going to take. What do I got here?
So
I'm
you
gonna
got your
take-
kicker and defense.
I do have a kicker and a defense. I'm good there.
You're not doing your backup tight end?
I'm not going to take a backup tight end because I'm just going to take skill guys that could pan out, and then I'll worry about a tight end when I get to my bye week.
Now mind you, just a couple names to throw
Honestly,
in there.
these guys are probably not going to make my team in the long run.
You do have Cameron Brate still out there.
Cameron Brate is still out there.
And you do have Kyle Rudolph, who is now part of that team.
He is now on that team, which
The Buccaneers. Is
I
that
know
team.
I put Cameron Brate in
So,
my sleepers last
just
week
throwing it out
with
there.
the tight ends, but now that Rudolph is there, there's no way Brate starts.
Right.
I'm just going to take some skill position guys here, and I'm looking between wide receiver and running back, and I'm just going to take Van Jefferson.
Good pick.
I like his deep ability
Yep.
that he has. He's probably not going to make my starting lineup at all unless a guy is on a bye week. But even Chris Olave on my team, I'm not going to start
Sure.
over.
Well, then you went. We went Jameis Winston, Gerald Everett, Darrell Williams, have you? Gus Edwards, Terry and Davis Pruitt.
I was debating between Gus Edwards because I know he was always listed as the second running back in
Yeah.
Baltimore, which is weird to get your backup running back super late. but I'd be okay with it.
Well, now
but
we're
he's still coming off an injury as well. So.
Now we're on the clock with me. I'm going to take a kicker. This guy was the number
and
one.
These are the last two picks for Chaz,
Yeah,
which is a kicker and a defense.
He
or
was the
defense
number
and a
one
kicker,
or two
vice versa.
kicker the last 2 years. Number 1, 2, or 3. That's Nick Folk. I'm going to take him. Why not? Right there.
bad.
Who gives a shit? It's a kicker.
Yep.
And you know what? I'll pair him up with his defense, Patriots defense.
Not bad.
So then we went Jamal Williams, the Indianapolis Colts. You know what I just realized? The Lions have Jamal Williams and Jamison Williams. That's going to be confusing.
That is going to be very confusing.
Robert Tunyan.
Well, we don't have to be confused in the beginning because Jamison
True
Williams
that.
is injured. So
then we went that Young Ho, and then we got the Stillers defense, and now we're
Yeah.
up for you, for Mr. Irrelevant,
So
for you.
I took Van Jefferson last time. I'm going to take a running back this time. It really doesn't matter because I'm probably going to end up dropping these guys later on anyway. Wait, is this who I think it is? That's Darren. Okay, never mind. Just kidding. I looked at D. Johnson and thought it was David Johnson, but
Dearness.
I actually don't think he
David didn't get signed yet.
isn't signed. Yeah, I didn't think so. I'm just gonna take Christian McCaffrey's backup, Chuba Hubbard.
Sure.
Only because
Why the
Christian
hell not?
McCaffrey's only got about 3 games in him before he was hurt.
Then we went Rodrigo Blankenship, Green Bay Packers, Ruby Gould, the McMahon ass, and then we're just waiting to see. Jay ends it
He
with Matt
takes
Ryan.
Matt Ryan as
Okay.
his backup quarterback.
So let's go through
To
the teams.
recap, go ahead, Chaz.
Well, we'll go through Jay's
Go
team.
through Jay's team, and then we'll go through mine, and then yours.
The stupid thing is in my way. Get out of here. Get out of here. There we go. Okay. So Jay's team. We went. Did you lose it? I still got it. If you lost it. Okay. Jay's team. What is happening? Okay. So Jay has Jonathan Taylor, Patrick Mahomes, Saquon Barkley, Mike Williams. I mean, I think that's a great first 4 picks. But then it kind of went sour with Allen
totally
Robinson, Ken Walker, Zach Ertz, Brandon Ayuk, James Cook, Skye Moore, Bills defense, J.D. McKissick, Evan McPherson, Khalil Herbert, Rob Gronkowski, Matt Ryan. Not a bad team.
It's not bad.
It's really not.
At that point, he took his backup quarterback last. I probably wouldn't have even bothered.
I didn't take one at all. So.
You didn't take one at all. But that's just me.
What's your roster?
But my roster is Dalvin Cook, Justin Herbert, Ezekiel Elliott, Jalen Waddle. Those are my first 4 picks.
Okay.
Those are the 4 picks that Jay and myself and Chaz all had the same running back, quarterback, running back, wide receiver.
Yep.
And then I went with Marquise Brown, Adam Thielen, Kareem Hunt, Dawson Knox is my tight end, Chris Olave, President of the United States, Alexander Madison. Kirk Cousins is my backup, Justin Tucker, Rams defense, Mostert, Van Jefferson, and Chuba Hubbard.
Not bad at all. So my first 4 that we were forced to draft were DeAndre Swift, Josh Allen, Antonio Gibson, and Michael Pittman. Antonio Gibson scares me, but I think I made up for it with depth. So my complete lineup, is Josh Allen, DeAndre Swift, Antonio Gibson, Michael Pittman, Chris Godwin, Hunter Henry, Michael Thomas, Cordero Patterson, Devin Singletary, Julio Jones, Naheem Hines, Albert Okwuegbunam, Mark Ingram, Jamison Crowder, Patriots defense, Nick Folk.
I like it.
So I was happy with the way it ended.
Sure.
I mean, if there's a chance.
you have a lot of high risk guys on your team.
Well, with Godwin and Thomas.
As far as Godwin, Thomas, Julio Jones is a high risk. He could pan out, especially if Godwin doesn't play the first couple games of the season.
But then I still got Crowder.
But you have Crowder, who's definitely going to play. We talked about it before. He's an upgrade over Beasley. Gibson is really your only scary one, I think, that you have on your team.
And between Cordell and Singletary, plus you got Mark Ingram for 6 games.
Right, so he's not as scary as he is.
So I think it worked out.
I think it's more scary because of where you drafted him. In my opinion, anyway.
Yeah,
but he also dealt with an injury last season, so hopefully he's coming back healthy. And
Jay just sent me a text. My wide receivers are shit.
I agree with him.
Well, he ruined it with. Let me see. I actually want to see something. Hang on.
The thing about Jay's team is he only has 4 wide receivers.
He took Allen Robinson at the start of the 5th round, right?
Yeah,
so I'm just
idea.
looking at a couple of receivers that went after him, right? The next 7 receivers that went after Allen Robinson, right? Cortland Sutton, yuck. Marquise Brown, I would have taken. Cooper, I probably would have taken over Robinson. Godwin, I would have taken over Robinson. Michael Thomas, I would have taken over Robinson. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Adam Thielen, Brandon Cooks.
I probably would have taken all of them over Allen Robinson.
Maybe not St. Brown. That's about
St.
it.
Brown, probably not. But I'd still, if I had the choice between Allen Robinson and Amon-Ra St. Brown, I'm taking Amon-Ra.
But don't forget, too, that we said Cortland Sutton, so... Man.
I also still don't see the hype on him.
Well, here's the thing, though.
But to be fair...
We got to remember one thing. Allen Robinson's in a Bears jersey.
Not anymore.
But in this picture...
That's true. Oh, that's true.
He's in a Bears jersey.
Yes, that's true.
So that sways Jay a little bit.
It does. That's right. So, my thing with Jay's... My thing with Jay's team, yes, he's got Jonathan Taylor. Yes, he's got Patrick Mahomes. Yes, he's got Saquon Barkley, who's still a question mark because we don't know what's going to happen.
Oh, shut your whore mouth.
I'm high on Saquon. I had drafted him last year. He's got 4 wide receivers on his roster.
But if
you have to start 3.
That's true. We don't have.
Well, you don't have to. You get to flex.
Yeah.
Okay, but you're gonna start 2, and then you're gonna flex in Ken Walker or James Cook.
I think James Cook would be a great flex if he's catching passes.
Week 1.
True. True. I mean, why can't you know who you could flex? I bet you could flex J.D. McKissick.
I would agree with that. That's probably his best
or Ayuk
backup running back. I mean Ayuk, yeah, but he also he's got a new quarterback though, so I'm curious to see what's going on there.
You're in a different position than last time.
I was.
Your running backs are much better.
My draft this week was much better than last week.
And that's even with all of us taking quarterbacks
early. And that's
early.
with our rules that we set for the first 4 rounds.
Yeah.
I'm good with it.
That's all of us taking quarterbacks early and stuff. So, I mean, now if I would have taken, and we'll end this quickly, if I would have taken Waller where I said, my number 1 and 2 receivers would have been Godwin and Thomas. Now, that's a little more scary than those being your 2 and 3.
So my guess is that with this draft is I did want to take Darren Waller in my 4th round, but you made it so that I had to take a wide receiver.
Then your number 1 and 2 would have been Marquise Brown and Thielen.
My number 1 and 2 would have been Brown and Thielen.
That's scary.
It is scary, but it's high risk, high reward.
True.
So,
true.
Jalen Waddle is a sure thing. We know.
Mm-hmm.
Marquise Brown, at least for the first 6 games, is a sure thing until Hopkins gets back.
I think it worked out. I think we all.
But
did
I think
better.
we definitely did better than. And minus Jay. Jay did. I don't like Jay's draft at all.
It's Allen Robinson that killed it. That's all it was for me. It was Allen Robinson
and Ken Walker.
That's a rookie running back. But the problem is it's a rookie running back that went to Pete Carroll.
Yeah.
So that's the scary part. But you never know. I mean, he could be the guy, but it scares me. Well, that's it. We're already pushing. We're at an hour 45 right now.
That's less than last week.
So we got to get ads and stuff. So, Adam, you picked the song of the week.
I did, and I wasn't prepared for this, but Chazz asked me.
Let me rephrase it. Adam, I made you pick the song of the week about an hour ago.
I wasn't prepared, but here I am. I was listening to a band that I love, and I know All Bets Are Off with Robbie Vegas. Host Robbie Vegas is also a fan of. We're going with Bad Marriage. And the song that I chose is Old School Stereo.
All right. So Old School Stereo from Bad Marriage is your song of the week. Shout out to Robbie Vegas. He's out on tour with Vixen right now, hanging out. Fucking asshole.
He's a mark.
He's a Vixen mark. I went and saw him wrestle. He wrestled with Tommy Dreamer this weekend.
I heard. I did not get a chance to get out there, but I heard it went well.
It was fun. So, thank you everybody for checking out the Fantasy Football Bros podcast, and we will be back next week, y'all. I believe with our running backs episode. Jay will hopefully be all healed up and everything. So whether or not Adam's back with us, we'll get some of your rankings too to put in there.
Yeah, sounds good.
We'll figure out what's going on next week.
Appreciate
with Jay.
You having me on this week.
Jay might still be on the mend. We might need to do this, without him, but. We can do it. Maybe we'll do another draft. I don't know though, because the receiver and the running back episodes are going to get long.
I think so too.
So we might have to.
There's a lot to talk about with those.
But bro, you realize in a week and a half or so, there's football.
2 weeks from Saturday. I know it's only what's today? Tuesday. Yeah, throwing me off.
So it's coming out today. So 2 weeks from today.
2 weeks from.
So this comes out on Saturday. So
this will come out on Saturday.
Yep.
So 2 weeks from Saturday.
2 weeks from the air of the show.
And the air of the show we will have preseason football,
I can't wait.
and I'm so excited.
Hopefully no injuries.
No injuries is what we hope for. I'm glad that they still do the 3 games. Who cares about the preseason? Give me the regular season.
We care about the preseason for about 45 minutes week 1.
Right.
And then we're like, okay,
That's true.
all right.
It's good that football is back during the preseason, but give me the regular season.
Just everybody stay healthy, please.
Yes.
No injuries.
Especially everybody on my team.
Especially everybody on my team, everyone in the Bills, everybody across the league. No injuries, no.
I don't like to see guys get hurt.
Even like the rookie, the undrafted guys, these guys are trying to make a team. Like no injuries. Like,
I agree.
That's tragedy. So, well, thanks for stopping out, everybody. And we will be back next week. It's your boy Chazz.
And I'm Adam.
It's Jay Coleman, y'all. And we will see you next week. Peace.
Later, guys.
Bitch.